Alright, welcome back everybody. Got a good week of trading ahead. It's April 28th. Market's about to open in about an hour or so. So let's take a look and see what we got going on with our S&P, Bitcoin, oil, and alike. And then we'll take a look at our Rocket Lab and decide how our Rocket Lab is going to continue. Alright, so we got to go. Alright, so first up is going to be our S&P, and of course S&P is still continuing to push higher, getting still below our trade wins, coming up against some overhead resistance here, but right now it looks like the buyers are still in it and still trying to get higher. Next up is going to be Bitcoin. And Bitcoin continues to push and push higher. We know we got a lot of support on Bitcoin. A lot of people buying that up and holding on to it. So looks like we found our bottom, which basically was down around here where it closed that window that it had opened. So we got that window shut, and it decided that was a good spot to turn around and head back up, and that's what it's doing. So look for the retest of 108,000 or 107,000 coming soon. Got this you know what, I ain't gonna, well, let's see what happens with that. Let's activate that and push it on across. See if that means anything. Alright, got this channel that we're in. It looks like it goes across. Oh, I don't like it. Maybe it may want to make me make a new one across the top of that like that. So let's see what happens with this channel. We broke it down here, so you know what? Let's do that over. We're not going to use that because this looks like it needs. Like it came down through here like that. Yeah, that makes more sense there, huh? So that might be our downward move there on Bitcoin. So let's see what happens with that, how that works out. Alright, next up is going to be oil. And oil is still trying to fight it off, but we're gonna run into some resistance because we know we're supposed to be trying to pump as much as we can. So we're gonna see what happens with oil as we move into the 2026, because getting those pumps up and running takes a little bit of time. Prices at the gas station haven't dropped much either as far as I can tell, so we'll see what happens with that as time moves on. Next up is going to be our E-mini S&P futures, and it's continuing to push higher at the same bar as what we looked at before, the S&P 500. Same thing, the S&P 500 futures and the S&P 500. So as you can see, they're both moving together. So the future looks bright. We got our Ethereum, and our Ethereum is trying to push higher also. It found its bottom at around 1,470, and starting to try to push up and retest this 1,900 area. Got a little bit coming in with buyers and whatnot, so we'll see what happens. But it is kind of moving kind of slow, so they're not like they're really anxious to get into Ethereum, not like they're doing with Bitcoin. You can see the difference in the move for sure between Bitcoin and the Ethereum. Alright, so Bitcoin right now is a hot ticket. Next up is gold. Gold took a little bit of a dive. It's pushing up really good, had a nice run here. Pushed up through here and then ran into that resistance at 3,500. Alright, so we'll see what happens with gold. and see where the buyers decide to step back in again. Right now, but gold is a pause, waiting for the buyers to come back and step in and take it back up to retest that high. We're looking for some support at least around this area here at 3100 on gold. So we'll see what happens with that as time moves on. Alright. Next up is going to be natural gas. Natural gas is, it just keeps running into this resistance area. About $3 or so. The sell-off continued. Ran to this support. The support seems to be holding a little bit. We got a little bounce up, so we'll see if it comes back down and retest the support before trying to go higher. And we'll figure that out. Of course, time will only tell, right? So it's all about timing. Next up is the NASDAQ 100 index futures, and like the rest of them, looks just like all the other ones. So nothing's changing there. It's just trying to push up higher, get up through these trade winds, and continue higher, and keep us more bullish than bearish. Next up is silver. Silver had a nice bounce, came down, hit down here $27, and they came in and bought that sucker back up and ran it right back up. So we'll see what happens up in here, if they're gonna take profits and shut it down and let it fall back down again, or if it's gonna find some support in here and continue to go higher on silver. But silver is looking pretty good right now in the pre-market, but be careful in here. It's slowing down a little bit. Next up is the Dow, and the Dow is probably the weakest looking one of all of them, although it has still kind of that same move, but it's just not pushing the way the S&P is, and it's still in this bearish area of the market below the 200 SMA and the moving exponential. So let's see what happens. Currently in the pre-market, it looks like it wants to continue higher. There's like the buyers are coming in, so just keep an eye on the Dow. It's still in this bearish area, but it's looking like it wants to continue positive. Next up is corn. Corn is kind of bouncing around a little bit, run into some resistance up in here. Set to open up at about 479, so that's going to put it 479.50, so about where it closed down in here. So we'll see when it opens if it continues to sell off and come down to retest this area down in here before going higher. We'll see what happens when the buyers step back in. So right now we're waiting for the buyers to show us that they're here and here to stay on corn. Alright, let's see what the Russell's doing. The Russell, just like the others, nice big green bar come in, pull back, pushing higher, trying to retest this 1900 area up here. Alright, 1999, so 2000. Trying to retest the 2000 area on the Russell. The Russell's looking like it wants to continue higher, although it's in a bearish type market. Alright, and on to our reason why we're here, and that's the Rocket Lab. The Rocket Lab is doing the thing in the pre-market. Currently in the pre-market, we're looking at about opening up at about 22.98. Alright. Alright, compared to how we closed on Friday. Okay, oh, you can't even see that. That's awesome. differently. Let's do that differently. Alright. Alright, now let's look at it in a 2 minute, and it is. Alright, so that bar on Friday has been taken out. Looks like we're going to have a gap up, so I expect to pull back on Rocket Lab this morning. So we can close that window. If we don't get that pullback, then look out. We may just continue to just run and run and run, and then we have to deal with that depending on what the gap looks like. We might have to deal with that later on down the road. But currently, the way it's pushing this morning, I'd look for a little bit of a pullback, get a better price before heading higher on Rocket Lab. But it's definitely still looking bullish, and if you're still in the trade, you're probably doing pretty good right now. It got kind of scary for a minute here if you got in at the wrong place, especially when we thought we were going somewhere, and then we got this pullback right into here. You know, thinking about this bar being our reason for getting in. So it almost took out half of that bar. Well, it probably did take out more than half of that. So if you got a good price or not, that would have been a good price to jump in. And then now you're looking pretty good right now and probably pretty happy. So I think we're still good on Rocket Lab. I think the buyers are still coming in and adding more to it. So look for the retest. You see we got it lined up here at about $27. So that's what we're trying to get to, retest. Once we get there, we might get a little bit of a pullback. We'll see what happens. But currently it's still looking bullish on Rocket Lab. And I hope you join me on the journey. Alright, so that's all we got for now. This morning when you see when it opens up higher, be careful. It might start running and then get a little pullback on it. Alright, so I don't know where you got in on the trade at, but don't freak out. And on the little bit of a pullback this morning, we should be okay on that end of it, and continue higher as the day moves on, unless we get some bad news or something somewhere. But so far everything is looking pretty good. I'm not sure if we got any earnings on today in our majors, but I know there's some more earnings coming up. So yeah, we got the second on Chevron. I think Amazon is coming up on the 1st on earnings. So yeah, the first on Amazon. So you know, I think we already had our. Let's see. Apple's earnings is coming up also on the 1st, aftermarket. So a lot going on this week. It's going to be some turbulence this week, most likely. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's all I got for now. But currently, our Rocket Lab is doing well, and we should continue to move higher on that as the days push on. As the rest of the market is still looking like it wants to continue to go higher. So if the rest of the market continues higher, so shall we. All right, so don't freak. Okay, but yeah, currently it's a buy to dip on Rocket Lab. All right, thanks for stopping by. I hope that your trading has been going well. We know we got a lot of things happening heading into May with the earnings coming out, and let's see if this year we're going to have a sell in May and go away. or if we're gonna just continue to blow on through it like we did last year. I don't know what sold off last year in May, but from what I could tell, from what I was looking at, nothing did. So we didn't get our sell in May. I think we ended up getting it in September or something like that. But anyway, that's the past. We're dealing with the future. So sit tight in it. Keep an eye on it. Don't forget your stops. Mentally, you can put them in there physically if you want, but definitely have them in there mentally. And that's all I got for now. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Be careful out there. These markets is crazy.